welcome to Rainbows Rising, where we ascend together. I am your host, Rainbow Raaja, and today I'm going to be covering a controversial topic. We all like to think of ascension as this incredible time where nothing bad ever really happens and that we're raising our vibration and stepping away from negativity, stepping away from negative people, stepping away from all that could harm us. And in some ways we are. But ascension is also kind of an opportunity to strengthen yourself. And anytime that you are getting stronger, you will be met with challenges. And these challenges are meant to help you grow, help you develop skills, and to help you become a warrior so that you can continue to help others ascend as well. Now, we've been covering dreams this month. And in the dream world, nightmares are your worst enemy. Nobody wants to go to sleep and have a nightmare. It's like you have one nightmare and you don't sleep for like a week. There are a lot of theories of what nightmares are. It's like heavy stress or a whole bunch of, just things you're processing through your life. Or maybe a nightmare is a deity, some kind of entity. Maybe the nightmare is just some indigestion. What is this nightmare state? Well, I can share some of my personal experiences of nightmares and what led to those nightmares that make me believe that there's more to nightmares than just a subconscious fear or indigestion. And I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide what you want to believe. But today I'm sharing some of my personal experiences doing shamanic work, doing dream work with clients, and my own personal journey. Now, let me preface this with saying, I don't have a lot of nightmares. But the ones I do have, I remember. My very first nightmare, like the one that is the most visceral, I was 4. It was a very, very tangible nightmare to me. I remember being in the dream with my mom and our, at the time, dog. We were wandering around in this area I used to play in, where I would play with fairies and adorable little things, and like catch roly-polies. And there was a shack, a creepy shack. And I was like, I don't want to go in the creepy shack. And of course, my mom was like, let's go in the creepy shack. And I was like, let's not. But I went in anyway because I couldn't let my poor mom go in alone. She was very frail and I just couldn't let her go in alone. So we went into the shack and there was nothing really in there besides a table. And on this table, there was a black box. And on this box were strange carvings. I did not like the vibe. I was not interested in this room. I was not interested in the vibe here. And I was like, no, let's leave. I'm not, keep in mind, I'm a 4-year-old and my consciousness was like, this is not where I want to be right now. But my mom was insistent in the stream. She was like, oh, let's go up and touch this thing. I was like, let's not touch. And she did. And it was already too late. And when she touched it, a swirling black mass of smoke and I don't even know. It was like the darkest black I'd ever experienced. And still to this day, imagining it, I don't have a reference in real life for this blackness. It was the darkest black I've ever seen. And it was tendrils and it was these cat creatures and there were thousands and thousands of them. They filled the room. My mom was gone. The dog was gone. And I was stuck with these creatures that I could feel scratching me and biting me and tearing my flesh off my bones. I was not cool with this. I woke up screaming and crying, and I went to my actual real mom in real life, and I cried, and she said, "Go back to sleep, honey. The dream will resolve itself." I can tell you as a 4-year-old, I did not want to go back to sleep and experience sheer pain and terror again. I went downstairs, turned on the TV, and watched TV until the sun came up, where I thought I would be safe. Once I saw the sun creep into my living room, I thought, oh, I'm safe. And I closed my eyes and went back to sleep. And I was back in the house. In a room, there was a bed. And the creatures came out from under the bed. And they chased me into the other room where there was an armchair with a standing lamp. And I was not okay with these creatures. I still was feeling them clawing me. They looked like cats. But I don't think they are cats. I don't think they were cats. And I climbed up on this armchair, and even though I loved cats, and I had this conscious awareness that I didn't want to harm anything, like, I was convinced that if I didn't fight for my life, I would die. So I picked up that lamp and I swung it as hard as I could at every single smoke creature I could see and hit. And I hit them and I hit them and I hit them until they all disappeared, and a wall opened up with a bunch of my friends and family behind it. And it was like, yay, I won. Yay. But I hadn't won. Although I never had that dream again. What led to that dream, now I don't know if this was a catalyst for the dream or if this was an initiation of some kind. I've heard this from my very first shamanic mentor. He told me that this was an initiation of spirit to infuse me with my shamanic abilities and to get me started on my path. But I was 4 and I had absolutely no memories from my past lives. And in the dream, I guess I dishonored the spirit in some way. But in this moment, it felt very dark. It did not feel welcoming. It didn't feel safe. So there's always a tiny twinge of doubt with that. But, there was a bed. There was an armchair. There was a table. There were lots of places for me to lay down and just let them tear me apart. But yeah, I had actually just been given a black cat, a kitten, from my mom as a pet. Now, I love this kitten. We slept together every night. It curled up right in my side. It didn't have a name yet. We had not named it. And several weeks after this dream, we named it Shadow. Interesting, right? And it was not a name I gave the cat. It was a name my mom gave the cat. So I loved this cat. But after that dream, that cat never slept next to me. That cat never cuddled me. That cat was never near me. And anytime I got near that cat, it growled and hissed. Even though it had spent months cuddling me and sleeping with me and would play with me constantly, I don't know what happened. I mean, we were on okay terms. Some days she'd let me pet her. Sometimes she would play with me a little bit. But if I wanted to pick her up, nope. If I wanted to pet her on my own terms, nope. That cat had really strong boundaries. And as a child, I had no concept of boundaries. So that was my very first nightmare. And all of the symbols and everything that led up to that nightmare. And I can tell you, I felt physical pain in that dream. And I have felt physical pain in other dreams. I have felt my arm break in a dream. I have felt, I felt getting stabbed. I had an aneurysm in a dream not too long ago. And like that was a nightmare to me. I had an aneurysm and myself in this dream world died or was carted off to a hospital or something. And that was pretty terrifying to me. And I was convinced that my a version of myself in another reality had perished or was, in a vegetative state. And I've done energy work for this person, this other version of myself. But there's one particular nightmare-like experience that I had that really stands out at me. I was doing dream work for a gal probably about 3 years ago. And she was coming to me. She was a bit of a skeptic. But she was coming to me. She said, I've had nightmares every single night for the past 15 years. And I have been to psychiatrists. I've been to doctors. I drug myself up. And I don't know what to do. And she told me nothing of the dream. I knew nothing about the dream. She was not comfortable sharing. And I always welcome my clients to, I respect their privacy. I don't need to know details about your dream to be able to journey on your behalf. So I just ask that she stay open, that she set the intention that I am welcome in her dreamscape so that I can resolve the problem or at least investigate what's going on. And this was a virtual session. I hadn't really met this person in person. And I was new to virtual sessions and I thought, hey, I'm not in person. I don't probably have to do like a shielding or grounding or, I was pretty grounded. I wasn't, having much mind chatter. I was pretty focused, but I didn't do any of the normal practices I do before a session. I just pulled out my drum and started to drum. And I went on a journey to her dreamscape. I set the intention. I was there. And I don't feel it's within my power to share too much of the details, the personal details. But we were in a forest. She was running. Something was chasing her. And what she saw it to be was not what it actually was. It had to do with a family member and a disconnect there. So what we did in that dreamscape is I had her confront this fear. I said, hey, stop running. How are you ever going to know what you're running from until you turn around and you face it? And it turned out it was this family member that she loved. And she was like, oh, I don't want to run from this person. I was like, okay, cool. Let's find out what has been causing this fear for so long. And so I asked her to pick an animal, any animal. Now keep in mind, I'm not talking to the actual person. I'm in a dreamscape with her in her own dreamscape. And I'm telling her, hey, pick a dream animal. We're going to go pretty much hunt down whatever has been messing with you for so long. So she picked a dog or a wolf. It was kind of like a husky or a German shepherd type of animal. And we're like, okay, we're going to go and find whatever is going on. So her dreamscape changed from the forest to a city. And we were just walking down the street and we turned into an alley and it was there. It was there in the alley. It was big and it was dark and gross and it was kind of dripping. And it had really bulky shoulders and a really skinny, midsection. And I had my spirit animal and she had hers. And we were like, hey, we're not going to make you go back to source, but you can't stay here. I like to respect all beings. And I didn't know this guy's backstory. I just was like, she doesn't want you here anymore. You're not allowed here. And he gave me a little bit of trouble. So I was like, okay. So I brought in some angels and I like started like doing some extracting out of her dreamscape. Pretty much it took me like 2 seconds to remove him from her and then to mask her energy. And we extracted him from her in the dreamscape, sealed her up. And then I did some like shielding work and helped to kind of mask her energy field and scramble it a little bit. So it would be harder for him to track her down again. And I was like, okay, cool. This is great. This was a good session. Yeah, I'll talk to you on the phone in a couple minutes. So I got off the phone. I got off the, dreamscape and I got onto the phone. I called her. Told her about the journey. She was taken aback at how accurate the details were because she hadn't told me anything and was like, wow, thanks. And that was that. And that night when I was dreaming, I started my dream in front of a big mansion. It's like a big Hollywood mansion with those big glass windows, floor to ceiling windows, you know what I mean. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. They had like the metal rails all the way around, a balcony. There was a griffin on top of the roof eating kittens. If you know me personally, I love kittens. They're like my weakness. Griffin is one of my spirit guides. And there was a guy just feeding kittens to a griffin. I was like, yeah, this is not my dreamscape. And so I decided, like, I wasn't lucid, but my dream self is very proactive. I was not happy with this area, and I was like, I'm leaving. This is not what I want to do. And I had the awareness that I was not in control. And I remember turning down a dirt road and walking to find the edge of the dreamscape, because normally the dreamscapes are pretty short, or at least you can kind of find a portal to a different place. So I was walking down the road and there was like a car. It was like an old, kind of like an FBI sedan type of thing. I was like, oh, what's this? And I opened the trunk of the car. I felt the inclination to open the trunk, and there was a German Shepherd dead in the trunk. And I got so mad. I felt so much rage in my dream. It was boiling within me. I turned and I looked to the sky and I said, you're not welcome here. You need to get out. And immediately at that, this face, this huge, crazy, demonic, evil thing flew at me and flew through me, where the very last image I had in my head was its face. And I felt it flying through my heart center. And I woke up screaming. This is the only time I've ever woken up screaming. And my partner freaked out. He was like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? My baby woke up screaming. She acted super freaked out and kept like looking around the room. And I was terrified. I was in tears. I was like, I need to go do some cleansing. And so I did. I did some cleansing. I got rid of the thing. Thank God. Like, it wasn't hard to get rid of. Because I know I have power. I know that it has no power so long as I know I have power. And I have power. More power than any little beings that think they have power over me. So I just got rid of it. I was like, you are going back to source where you will be recycled because you pissed me off. And so I did. But I want, the whole message I'm trying to get across here is that dreams are scary, but they're also necessary for lessons learned. I learned with that last dream, the one I just described. I have to do shielding before I go into any work, virtual or not. I gotta shield. Gotta shield every day. Gotta protect myself. That even though I think I'm fine, the beings out there know, they know what's going on. and they'll see you unshielded doing crazy dream work, and they'll go, oh, look at this one. Oh, this will be fun. I'm just going to mess with this one here. And they do. And, as for the other types of dreams, it's all lessons. You have every experience you have for a lesson. Ascension can be a beautiful, wondrous thing. But that doesn't mean you're not going to go through, nightmares or meet some entities along the way that aren't, they're not going to be nice. I mean, the whole world isn't filled with just nice people and nice beings. We already know that. That's why we all are here trying to ascend, is because we've had so much trouble up to this point. So it's really important to do, the work and to know that you have power. You can shift nightmares, but you have to be conscious of what led into that. I recognized that the reason I had that nightmare, which at first coming out of the dream, I was like, why did I have that nightmare? I realized that nightmare was caused because I didn't shield myself before doing that dream work for that client. The clues were, first of all, I would never dream of a majestic griffin eating kittens. Like, horrible thing in the whole wide world. I was disgusted. And also, like, animals being dead, huge trigger for me. I cry. I do entire ceremonies for any roadkill I see. It was very triggering for me. So I wanted to have killed a German Shepherd and thrown it into a trunk. And what was her spirit animal? A German Shepherd. He was sending me a message. He was sending me like, oh yeah, like, you can't stop me, da-da-da. Like, look, you have no power here. And I was like, oh yeah. And that's what I did. I shifted it. I said, oh, you think you have power here? No. I'm sure he was so surprised when I turned around and talked to the sky, like, after less than half a dream. He was like, wait, what? So just know, the more lucid dream work you do, the more dream journaling you do, you will become empowered. If you have lots of nightmares, keep track of the symbols coming up, because you can dissect what the cause is, and you can start to become a warrior for fighting those nightmares back, because you have power. And the very last tip I'm going to give you before going off is, if you want to stop a nightmare, if you have a lot of nightmares and you're like, I'm tired of these nightmares and I want to overcome this, before you go to bed, you can ask a question. This is something that the ancient Greeks used to do. They ask a question as they are falling asleep. I recommend writing it in a dream journal and then repeating the question as you're falling asleep. But in your dream, you will visit wherever it is you need to visit, and you will get the answers. It might be obscure. It might be direct. You might meet some guides if that's your intention. But you will receive the answers. So applying this same principle, you can set your intention when you're falling asleep that you are going to conquer the nightmare. And every single time before you go to sleep, you say, I'm going to conquer this nightmare. 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 Think about your spirit animals. Think about your spirit guides, and remind yourself as you drift off into sleep that you're going to conquer this nightmare, because you have power, and you can. So I hope you guys know that this journey has its ups and downs. And I'm here to help you navigate those downs, as well as, help you through those ups and help you continue to ascend. And my hope is that through hearing my experiences, that if you are having experiences that are similar, you're having nightmares, you're having these situations that come up, that you know you're not alone. That you know that there are people out there that are experiencing the same thing as you, that they have overcome, and that you can too. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you for supporting Rainbows Rising. Without your support, I wouldn't have ranked number 39 on the top healing podcasts of the web. Thank you guys so much. Keep listening, keep sharing with friends and family. You can check out my website and book a session with me, especially if you want more clarity on dreams, more clarity on your particular dreams. If you want any kind of dream readings or dream interpretation, I'm around. I'm here to do any kind of session that you need. Hit me up, ask me your questions, ask me what I'm capable of. I love challenges, and I want to work with you guys. I want to work with you because we're all here supporting each other, helping each other. All right? I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And bye. Are you ready to ascend to the next level? This is Rainbow Raaja, your spirit guide calling. Please be sure to keep all arms and legs inside your vessel at all times. I'm just here to remind you to take some time today. Support Rainbow's Rising podcast. Go. Join the Discord community. Check out the Patreon. Get some stickers, custom tarot cards. Check out the merch. The merch. You know you want to. Go connect with Rainbow Raaja. Maybe even get a session. Who knows? Your support helps make this show possible. And she loves to support you. Help support her too. Once again, this is Rainbow Raaja, your spirit guide, guiding you to your ascension.